Wealth Creation is brought to you by Investors Group and Shafik Hirani. Welcome to Wealth Creation. Joining us, as always, is Shafik Hirani, Division Director at Investors Group Financial Services, Inc. He's the #1 financial advisor in Canada at Investors Group, according to new business credits. Shafik, as always, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks again for having me, Chad.
So every week, we're here to put Shafik on the spot when it comes to investment advice. Today, we're going to talk about financial planning, estate planning, but first, mentioning financial planning, how does that differ from investment advice, investment planning?
Okay. I think intuitively, generally, people don't understand the differences. And I think investment planning is one aspect of financial planning. But financial planning also involves tax planning, retirement planning, estate planning, and so on. I think the biggest mistake people make is with investment planning, most investment advisors, they think very linearly. You know, I'm here, I'm trying to get to point B. What do I need to do to make money on my investments? What do I need to do to make sure my investments don't go down in value? And so, you know, nowadays, I think that merit is losing a little bit of attention, because nowadays I can log online with this and I can get advice from a guy named Warren Buffett, who's the smartest investment advisor everywhere. I can open an account at E-Trade instantly with my credit card, and I can buy a stock for $8.99 a trade. So that advice is starting to lose its merit. I think the key is people are starting to realize is people need a plan. We build a house, we need a foundation. So that's sort of how they differ.
Okay, well, mentioning that foundation that is people's lives, how does this equate to estate planning?
Okay, estate planning is basically, if you're gonna pass away, how much do you leave to your beneficiaries, your heirs? Now, you have to make sure that if you're going to pass away, that Revenue Canada doesn't inherit more of your estate than your beneficiaries or the people you intend to.
Yeah.
So you do that by putting things in joint ownership. You do that by gifting assets. You do that by naming beneficiaries on your assets. You do that by reviewing your will.
And so, say if somebody passes away, one of the spouses passed away, which is an unfortunate part of life. Yeah. How does the other spouse ensure that that money goes to that bloodline and doesn't get lost somewhere along the ways? Because that can tend to happen.
Very good, very good. The biggest mistake I think lawyers make is that when they write a will, they write it based on your classical legal will. Now, I'll show you an example. Basically, if you have a husband and a wife, and let's say they have a kid. Well, if the husband dies, everything automatically goes to the wife. If the wife dies, everything goes to the husband. If they both die, everything goes to the kids. Well, what happens in real life is that sometimes this husband will pass away, and sometimes this wife will remarry a new husband. And let's assume that this husband from a previous marriage has previous kids. Well, if they buy a joint house together and this wife passes away prior, who do you think gets those assets? So what you want to look at doing is you want to set up what's called a capital beneficiary trust. And this is how you set up that in your will. Now, you must seek a planner, but of course the legal ramifications must be done through a lawyer. So you talk to your planner, you talk to your lawyer, and write your will from a financial planning perspective.
Well, Shafik, very interesting as always. Thank you very much.
Thanks again for having me, Chad.
For more information on Shafik Hirani and the Wealth Creation segment, log on to energytv.com.